Investors are putting their money and
They're running.
They're running, of course. So
they're running because a lot of the older investors have figured out they can't outrun an algorithm. They can't outrun computer trading. They can't outrun such large enterprise that controls so much stock. You know, if Warren Buffett decides to sell, he can kill a stock in a second, right? If the short sellers decide to pick on a stock, they can destroy its value, even though the value's there. And what a lot of these older investors have figured out is, I don't have the bandwidth and access to platforms and data and algorithms to outsmart computers. So it's a market that I'm going to dabble in. But most of the investors I deal with have either exited fully or they're about 10% in the market just to give them something to do. They've lost faith in the stock market. So that's a real scary thing, because the market is driven by volume, and it's driven by trading, right? Somebody's got to want to buy more stocks than you want to sell to create higher value, right? If you have a lot of the high net worth investors losing faith and confidence and pulling their money out, you're not getting that increase in activity. What you're seeing is a decrease in volume. In other words, I think what's been happening the last year, everybody just waits till it bounces up just high enough to scrape them off the top and go somewhere else, just high enough to get out of that stock position. But if you notice, they're not reinvesting. Now, I'm not saying the stock market is not a great way to be wealthy. Listen, I mean, Warren Buffett's no fool. I'm saying that today, by pure common sense, it is a stock market that I view at 33,000 on the Dow. It has about an 85% probability of going below 25,000 on the Dow by the end of next year, more so than it does going to 36,000 on the Dow, making me 10% of my money. So investors are all about risk reward. Why risk a really volatile stock market that keeps hitting its head on the top of the jar like a flea jumping up? And they're saying, I'd rather take those same dollars and putting in something that I think is more safer, lower risk, and I can keep it out of that public market mentality. And I think that's what most of the investors I'm dealing with, they're coming out of the stock market. They're just staying in positions just long enough to peel it off and get the heck out of Dodge. I don't know. I think we have a big change in the private high net worth investor market. So I was born 1964, the last year of the baby boomers, right? So most of my clients are either 10 years younger than me, maybe 10 years older, somewhere in that range. Those that are in the baby boomer market, they've already made their money. They don't need new cars and girlfriends and houses. They own what they own. They got their investment. They're keeping busy playing. But what I can tell you is happening is there is a massive change in their mentality. They're tired. They're tired of the scams and the bad deals and the cycles. So now what they're saying is, I just want to invest in things that I know I can count on. An apartment complex. I can drive by it. I can see the building. I know the tenants are there. I know what part of town it's in. I like it. When you think about the stock market, so much of the stock market now is driven by things they can't even put their head around. You know, you're getting software and platforms and this and AI. They're like, I don't get it. Well, that baby boomer group has a enormous amount of net worth that sooner or later gets passed on to their heirs, but not today. You start putting that change in mentality to 5, 10, 20-year thinking, it changes a lot of markets, not just the stock market. So I think it has to do with where they bank. I think it has a lot to do with the type of assets they buy and the banking products they buy. I think it has a whole lot to do with whether they're going to be investing in startups or not. I think a lot of startups are going to have a hard time finding capital unless they can find these younger investors that want to participate, because there's just a change. They're all like me. They're realizing we're older. We can't remake it back. We're tired. We're less risky. And we're just kind of assuming, hey, life is good. Why do we want to go beat our head against a rock? And I think that's why my business has exploded. They just like the idea. Hey, I just get a check every month. I don't have to think about anything. There's no bad phone calls on Monday. Man, what a nice investment. You know, it's a great attraction.
You know, you bring up baby boomers. It is almost like